Switzerland? Land of cheese, chocolate, and snowmobiling? You bet! I'm always up for trying new things, especially when they involve a bit of adrenaline and stunning scenery. So when the opportunity to hop on a snowmobile and explore the Swiss Alps presented itself, I was all in. Now, I'm a city slicker at heart. Give me cobblestone streets and cozy cafes any day. But there's something undeniably magical about the mountains in winter. The crisp air, the silence of the snow-covered forests, the promise of adventure around every bend. It's exhilarating. I could practically hear the mountains calling my name. I was ready to trade my trusty walking shoes for a snowmobile and experience Switzerland from a whole new perspective. Little did I know this trip would be one for the books. Stay tuned for tales of snowy trails, breathtaking views, and maybe even a near miss or two. Picture this, towering peaks dusted with fresh powder, sunlight glinting off the snow, creating 1,000 tiny diamonds. Forests of evergreen trees stood tall, their branches heavy with snow like something out of a fairy tale. The air was crisp and clean, carrying the faint scent of pine. As we ascended higher into the mountains, the views just got more spectacular. I was surrounded by a panorama of snow-capped peaks, stretching as far as the eye could see. It was like stepping into a postcard, a scene of such pristine beauty it almost felt unreal. The Swiss Alps in winter are truly a sight to behold. They have a way of making you feel small and insignificant, yet completely in awe of nature's grandeur. It's a humbling experience, a reminder of the raw power and beauty of their natural world. Before I could even think about hitting the trails, it was time to suit up. The anticipation was building, and I could feel the excitement in the air. The snow-covered landscape stretched out before me, promising an adventure like no other. But first I had to get ready. Now, I'll admit, I felt a bit like an astronaut squeezing into all that gear. The layers seemed endless, and each piece was designed to keep me warm and safe in the harsh winter conditions. It was a bit of a struggle, but I knew it would be worth it once I was out on the trails. We're talking thick snow pants, a heavy-duty jacket, a balaclava to protect my face from the wind, and, of course, a helmet. Each item had a specific purpose, and together they formed a barrier against the cold. The gear was heavy, but it was reassuring to know I was well protected. Our guides made sure we were outfitted properly, checking our helmets and explaining how to operate the snowmobiles. Safety first, folks. They were thorough, ensuring that every strap was secure and every piece of equipment was in place. Their expertise gave me confidence that I was in good hands. They went over the basics of steering, accelerating and braking, emphasizing the importance of staying in control and respecting the terrain. It was a lot to take in, but their clear instructions made it easier to understand. They also shared tips on how to handle different types of snow and ice, which was incredibly helpful. Once I was all geared up, I could barely move, let alone operate a snowmobile. The layers restricted my movements, making me feel like a robot. But I knew that once I got used to it, the gear would become second nature. It was all part of the experience. But hey, safety and warmth are paramount when you're braving the elements. The weather can be unpredictable, and it's better to be over-prepared than underdressed. The cold can be unforgiving, and the last thing I wanted was to cut the adventure short because I wasn't properly equipped. Plus, I figured looking the part was half the fun. The gear made me feel like a true adventurer, ready to take on the snowy wilderness. It added to the excitement and made the whole experience feel more authentic. I couldn't wait to get started. I was ready to embrace my inner snowmobile enthusiast, even if I felt a bit like a marshmallow on skis. The anticipation was palpable, and I knew that this was going to be a ride to remember. With my gear on and my spirits high, I was prepared for the adventure that lay ahead. Section 4, Snowmobile 101, a crash course. Not literally. Now, I'm not exactly a gearhead, but even I have to admit snowmobiles are pretty cool machines. These powerful vehicles are designed to glide over snow and ice, making them perfect for winter adventures. The sleek design and robust engine make them not only functional but also quite fascinating to look at. I found myself drawn to the intricate details of the engine and the overall build of the snowmobile. It's clear that a lot of thought and engineering goes into making these machines both efficient and enjoyable to ride. They're surprisingly easy to handle, with handlebars for steering and a throttle to control your speed. The handlebars are designed to give you maximum control even when you're navigating through tricky terrains. The throttle, on the other hand, allows you to adjust your speed with precision, ensuring that you can go as fast or as slow as you need to. It's a bit like riding a bike, but with a lot more power and a lot more fun. The controls are intuitive, making it easy for even beginners to get the hang of it quickly. Our guides gave us a quick lesson on the basics before we set off. They were incredibly knowledgeable and patient, making sure that everyone felt comfortable and confident. They walked us through each part of the snowmobile, explaining how everything worked and what to expect once we were out on the trails. It was reassuring to know that we were in good hands and that we had all the information we needed to have a safe and enjoyable experience. They explained how to use the throttle and brakes, emphasizing the importance of smooth and controlled movements. The throttle is your best friend when it comes to managing your speed, but it's also something you need to handle with care. The brakes, on the other hand, are crucial for maintaining control, especially when you're navigating through more challenging parts of the trail. The guides made sure we understood how to use both effectively, giving us the confidence we needed to tackle the ride ahead. How to steer on snow and ice, which is a bit different from steering on regular roads. The key is to make gentle, deliberate movements, allowing the snowmobile to glide smoothly over the surface. The guides showed us how to lean into turns and use our body weight to help steer, which was a bit tricky at first, but made a big difference once we got the hang of it. They also gave us tips on how to handle different types of snow and ice, ensuring that we were prepared for whatever conditions we might encounter, and most importantly, how to stay safe. Safety was a top priority, and the guides made sure we understood all the necessary precautions. They emphasized the importance of wearing the right gear, including helmets and protective clothing, to keep us safe in case of any accidents. They also stressed the importance of staying alert and aware of our surroundings at all times, as well as respecting the rules of the trail and the other riders. It was clear that they wanted us to have fun, but also to stay safe and responsible. They emphasized the importance of staying on the designated trails, respecting other riders and being mindful of the environment. The trails are there for a reason, and venturing off them can be dangerous not only for us but also for the local wildlife and the natural landscape. The guides reminded us to always follow the trail markers and to be considerate of other riders, giving them plenty of space and signaling our intentions clearly. It was a good reminder that while we were there to have fun, we also had a responsibility to take care of the environment and each other, and being aware of our surroundings. This means keeping an eye out for any potential hazards, such as fallen branches or icy patches, and being prepared to react quickly if needed. It also means being aware of the other riders around us and making sure we're not putting ourselves or anyone else in danger. The guides encouraged us to communicate with each other and to always be on the lookout for any signs of trouble. It was a lot to take in, but it was all important information that would help keep us safe on the trails. It all sounded simple enough. But I have to admit, I was a little nervous as I climbed onto my snowmobile for the first time. The thought of controlling such a powerful machine was a bit intimidating, and I couldn't help but feel a bit anxious. But I reminded myself of everything the guides had taught us and took a deep breath. I knew that as long as I followed their instructions and stayed calm, I would be fine. It was just a matter of getting over that initial fear and trusting in my abilities. It felt powerful beneath me, and I didn't want to end up careening off into a snowdrift. The engine roared to life, and I could feel the vibrations through the handlebars. It was a thrilling sensation, but also a bit daunting. I took a moment to get used to the feeling, reminding myself to stay focused and in control. The last thing I wanted was to lose control and end up in a pile of snow. But with each passing moment, I started to feel more comfortable and confident. But with a deep breath and a little pep talk, I was ready to give it a go. I reminded myself that this was supposed to be fun and that I had all the tools and knowledge I needed to succeed. With a determined expression, I gripped the handlebars and prepared to set off on my snowmobile adventure. It was time to put everything I had learned into practice and enjoy the ride. And as I revved the engine and started to move, I couldn't help but feel a rush of excitement and anticipation for the journey ahead. Section 5. Hitting the trails, the thrill of the ride begins. The anticipation was palpable as we gathered at the starting point, our snowmobiles lined up like eager steeds ready to gallop into the winter wilderness. Each rider adjusted their gear, ensuring everything was in place for the adventure ahead. The air was crisp and the snow beneath us sparkled like a blanket of diamonds, promising a day filled with excitement and discovery. With a roar of engines and a cloud of snow dust, we were off. The sound was deafening yet thrilling, a symphony of power and speed. As we accelerated, the snow kicked up behind us, creating a misty veil that added to the mystique of the journey. The initial rush was like nothing I'd ever experienced, a blend of fear and exhilaration that set my heart racing. The initial jolt of acceleration took me by surprise, but I quickly got the hang of it. My hands gripped the handlebars tightly at first, but as the minutes passed, I began to relax and enjoy the ride. The snowmobile responded to my every command, and I felt a growing sense of confidence. It was as if the machine and I were becoming one, moving in perfect harmony over the snowy terrain. The snowmobile responded smoothly to my touch, gliding effortlessly over the packed snow. Each turn and twist of the trail was met with precision and grace. The sensation of gliding over the snow was almost surreal, like floating on a cushion of air. I could feel the power of the engine beneath me, yet it was controlled and refined, making the ride both thrilling and comfortable. We followed our guides in a single file line, winding our way through snow-covered forests and across open meadows. The landscape changed with every turn, from dense woods where the trees stood like silent sentinels to wide-open spaces where the horizon seemed to stretch forever. The guides led us with expertise, ensuring we stayed on the best paths and experienced the most breathtaking views. The scenery was breathtaking, even more so from the back of a snowmobile. The world around us was a winter wonderland with snow-laden branches and sparkling icicles catching the sunlight. Every direction offered a new postcard-perfect view, and I found myself constantly in awe of the natural beauty that surrounded us. It was a reminder of the majesty of the great outdoors and the unique perspective that snowmobiling provides. The wind whipped past my face, stinging my cheeks, but I couldn't wipe the grin off my face. The sensation was invigorating, a constant reminder of the speed and freedom of the ride. My cheeks tingled from the cold, but the thrill of the experience kept me warm inside. Every gust of wind was a testament to the adventure we were on, a physical manifestation of the excitement that coursed through me. The thrill of the ride was exhilarating. Each moment was filled with a sense of discovery and wonder. The snowmobile's speed and agility made every twist and turn an adventure, and I felt a deep connection to the landscape around me. The ride was not just about the destination, but the journey itself. Each second a new chapter in our winter tale. It was like flying across a sea of white, the world a blur of snow and sky. The sensation of speed was intoxicating, and the landscape seemed to rush past in a beautiful, snowy blur. It was as if we were gliding through a dream, the boundaries between reality and fantasy blurring with every mile. The snowmobile felt like an extension of myself, and together we soared across the winter wonderland. The faster we went, the more alive I felt, the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Each burst of speed was a rush of pure energy, a reminder of the power and potential of the snowmobile. The landscape flew by in a blur, and I felt a sense of liberation that was both exhilarating and empowering. The ride was a dance of speed and control, a perfect balance of thrill and skill. It was pure exhilaration, a feeling of freedom and adventure I won't soon forget. The ride was more than just a physical journey. It was an emotional and spiritual experience. The sense of freedom was unparalleled, and the memories created were ones that would last a lifetime. As we finally slowed down and came to a stop, I knew that this adventure had left an indelible mark on my soul, a testament to the thrill of the ride.